I have to put it in God's hand pretty much every day. God's plans are so much higher than my dreams. He has so many opportunities to make something happen. Just needs a few people who are flexible and faithful enough to start.
Hey friends, welcome to Unlock Meaning, and I'm so excited today because we're having a special guest on, a guest from Switzerland. And the crazy thing is we didn't meet in Switzerland, we met in Cambodia while serving in an NGO and in church. And his heart is in the business world. He wants to see transformation through his business endeavors. And I mean, it's just amazing what they did. They built a wake park in Cambodia. They are building a hospitality school in Indonesia. And they pour their lives into people in Southeast Asia and want to see a big difference. And you're going to see, and Leo's going to tell you how you can live for something greater than yourself and how you can embrace God's vision that sometimes or very often way bigger than you have expected. So stay tuned for amazing value bombs. Welcome, Leo, to Unlock Meaning. So great to have you on today.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Leo, you went from working as a car mechanic to serving as a full-time volunteer where we met in Cambodia to eventually becoming a business owner and investor. That's quite a journey. Draw us into your story.
Yeah, that's correct. I was car mechanic in Switzerland, and when I married, I went traveling with my wife. I wanted to travel again anyway, and she wanted to work as a volunteer for a short time to support kids with her medical background. So some coincidences made us ending up in ICF Cambodia, which is a Christian NGO in Southeast Asia. And my wife had important tasks, and I was just a handyman around the campus to support a little bit. So in these 3 months we spent with ICF Cambodia, we met another young Swiss couple working there. They were doing market research because the NGO was looking to build a business to support the NGO financially. I did not have much to do with that. So after the 3 months, we left Cambodia. I was looking forward for travel and then going back home, save some money, having a nice apartment, buying a new car, whatever. But as we left Cambodia during traveling already, we felt that the piece of our heart was still in Cambodia. And later, before we came back home, we got the call from our new friends in Cambodia that they gave green light for the project they were planning, which was a wake park. So the project was quite huge, and my friend was looking for somebody to support him as well with planning, construction leading, and then also running the business for the first 12 months. And once we got home, we decided that we will quit our jobs and move to Cambodia for more or less 3 years. That was the project, and that's how we came to Cambodia for a long-term volunteering, building up this wake park and running business for the first year. Once that was finished, and we had great success, so God blessed us a lot with the skills and idea and everything what was needed to build it up, because we did not really have the right education to lead a project like that. My friend also, same like me, simple worker from Switzerland. And once the project was finished, I thought it's absolutely clear we go back home, we work, and my money was gone anyway. But when we arrived in Cambodia, we did a small investment. We were calculating how much money we used to pay rent for around 3 years, and that money we invested in buying a small land and building a small house. When we were finished with the project, bank account was empty, it was COVID, and selling a foreign house in Cambodia was pretty much mission impossible. But we decided to advertise it and see how it goes. After 3 days, both houses were sold. And that was really unexpected for me, and it opened new opportunities. So I was not sure if we really go home or not. Our friends, they wanted to go back to Indonesia. They were living in Indonesia before. They had a plan, building up an own NGO with a business. That's what we love. B4T, Business for Transformation, having a business, making money, and use the money to support social projects or whatever. So they plan to go to Indonesia to start their own business and their own NGO. I wasn't really excited to go to another country with a new language again and start from zero. So I was more committed to go home to Switzerland. But with COVID, it was also not really exciting going back home. And we had also an opportunity staying longer in Cambodia with a new project, but it felt like too much comfort zone. And we thought we are ready for something else. So we decided, following our friends, to Indonesia and see if there's success, if we can start something and how it goes. So long story short, we had success in Indonesia again, and we have a hospitality school. It's under construction now, it's not finished. Hospitality school together with a holiday resort, bungalows and private land and villa investment. And we were really busy, or we are really busy, and finally got a call from Cambodia because the wake park had a hard time during COVID, of course, and became more a burden for the NGO because there was not really financial support from the business then. So they decided to sell the wake park to the landowner. The landowner knows us well. He called us if we would come back and rent the park from him and build up our own company to run the wake park. First of all, we thought, no way, that's not possible. We are overwhelmed already with everything going on in Indonesia. But somehow it turned out we went back, we split it, like my friend is taking care in Indonesia for construction, and me and my wife are back in Cambodia for the wake park. So that's the situation we are in now, back since 3 months, and we love it to be back. We love Cambodia, and our friends, they do great work in Indonesia. So that's how we ended up here again.
Yeah, that's quite a story. And for those who are not familiar with Cambodia or Indonesia, I mean, it's remarkable what you guys are doing. And well, there was no wake park in Cambodia. It's the first and only still wake park in Cambodia. It's quite a pioneer, quite a visionary project to pull something off. And yeah, if you have the opportunity to go visit the wake park in Cambodia, do it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. But let's talk about a bit your vision, because I'm sure some people listening today or watching today, you're in business, you're working somewhere, and you're wondering, how can you do more? How can you influence people? And you mentioned the word business for transformation. That's something you have on your heart. So tell us a bit, Leo, what is your vision for this wake park, like business-wise, but also I'd say like transformation-wise?
People have different skills, different backgrounds, different talents, and for me personally, I see what you said as the pioneer, maybe faithful, starting something which doesn't look really realistic. So I'm more of the guy starting something and creating a platform where other peoples with other talents can continue. And the vision behind both projects is definitely making money, so we have money to work for the social project. We love to invest in the young generation in Asia. We see a huge potential, and the business is just a smart way to get income and also creates a working space, but that's not the main thing. So we love to work together very closely with a small team, long term, to have an impact, to share life, to learn from each other. And then the bigger impact has to be organized by somebody else with other talents to continue the work. I don't even know what it might be in the future.
And what kind of, like, let's say we have this conversation again in 3 years from now. What needs to have happened in the next 3 years? I'd say, like, life-wise. Obviously, yes, business-wise, you want a thriving business, I guess. But what needs to have happened in the life of those people you're impacting?
What I see is a long-term relationship in the team, but also with God. So I think it's very important, especially here in Asia, to build up trust and relationship. So I see the young generation stepping forward with having trust in God and having trust into friends also, to be able to really be free, to get peace, to have a good family, to do a good work, to just have a positive impact, because that's a big lack what I see with trust, with feeling worthy, with security. So I think that's something which takes longer to build up slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. Building trust is so important in Asia and relationship. That's my, let's say, my key learning here too. It just takes longer, and you have to first build a foundation. I'd say a relationship foundation, and then you can build upon that. Well, you're doing a lot of projects. You're in Indonesia. You're in Cambodia. Making a lot of difference. Let's talk about the challenges for a second. In all these endeavors, what kind of challenges do you have, and how do you overcome them?
That's a good one. As a Swiss car mechanic, my expectation for quality and speed is a little bit high. Always when you have the lower times, like if the cash flow is not really interesting, if we struggle with the financial situation, the pressure for my staff and my wife and everybody around me gets higher. So once I get a little bit more pressure, I bring the pressure into my team with controlling them too much or just expect too much. And it's good that I have an awesome wife, which reminds me every time. So that's how I overcome the challenge, to have somebody telling me, "Hey, buddy, it's that point again," and just to calm down a little bit, because it's something I don't really get it. Maybe if I look back, I get it, but I don't get it in the moment.
Yeah, that's funny. As a business owner myself, I can totally relate to that. Whenever you have those periods, these dry periods, some cash flow issues, those are, well, they're probably part of the business, but they're not fun.
Yeah, and great to learn and grow. Like that's always awesome to, if you have somebody to reflect you, otherwise you will maybe not even recognize the situation.
Yeah, speaking of this challenge, what I found as a business owner is that I need to trust and have confidence. So let's talk about this for a moment. What gives you confidence in these situations and also in these countless leap of faith you have done?
Yes, I realized early in my life that when I put my faith into God, it turns out better than when I success my own ideas or plans. So that's something which is deep in my heart, to really have faith into God's guidance. I'm dependent on His blessings because I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best, I am not the solution. So it's really, as long as I have the blessings and the flow, it works. And if not, then I can probably not even change it, because a lot of stuff we do, we cannot really control. In Indonesia and in Cambodia, it was not under our control. And this helped me a lot to realize to be dependent on God and not be the solution by myself. And also we have great support from friends and family. I think that's very important, to stay strong, even if you have a bad time or you sick for a long time, to have support from outside. also for big decisions, to have support, to have prayer from outside and talk and ask. I think that helped us a lot to do all the decision the past 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Support is so important, and surround yourself with the right people. I mean, that's a game changer. And what I love in your story, Leo, is that it's not a straight line. I mean, you started somewhere, you went to Cambodia, you thought it's just going to be 3 months. Finally, you ended up long term. You went to Indonesia, you're back in Cambodia. I mean, that's not planned. So, how do you stay flexible and open also in this whole adventure, actually, to what God has in store?
I think if we are not flexible anymore, we just continue to follow the success from an earlier task. But I think there are different tasks, different points in your life where you probably have to move or go forward or go backward or whatever. So I want to be flexible. That was a decision we made when we got married. Maybe that's why we have such a crazy time the last 5 years, but we were choosing that we want to stay flexible for God's plan. And to stay flexible, you should not have too much stuff which kind of traps you at home. Like if you have too much stuff you cannot leave behind you, you're probably not that flexible. I never had a lot of money, so I never had a lot of material, so it was quite easy for me to stay flexible. But I think that's definitely a decision you have to make if you are flexible or not.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a decision you have to make. And I remember when I left Switzerland and I just sold everything, pretty much everything I had, my furniture, everything. I mean, it was a bit scary, but at the end actually felt amazingly good. I felt liberated and free. Yeah. It makes it easier if you have less stuff, but still, I think if you have a lot of stuff, you can still be flexible. You just need to let go and to make this decision.
Right. Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with faith again, because if you are flexible for His plans, probably the ideas coming up are not exactly what you expect or what you wanted to do. So it's good to have trust that He has a good plan for you. And if you fail, the deepest you can fall, you fall into His hands, which is still much better than a lot of other stuff we have in mind what we should do. So that's something which gives the foundation to be relaxed in being flexible.
And what do you do if this plan or this project or this vision is so much bigger than you have anticipated and so much way out of your comfort zone? What do you do then?
Yeah, that's basically what happened the last couple of years. I laugh once in a while with my friend Levi, and we just joke about how big it is now and that it's too big for us anyway. And we trust that God will send the right people with the right talents at the right moment. And that's usually always a little bit later than you think it's the last possible date to get somebody. But that's what we experienced as well, that people just out of nowhere show up, they have talents and time or money or this or that, and it continues. And I have to put it in God's hand pretty much every day, because it definitely is much bigger than my skills or my education is. But He can use me for a certain time, and then other people will maybe take over or add or expand. And yeah, that's something we should not carry on our own shoulders. I'm not sure if I could sleep well if I see the pressure from these two projects on my own shoulder. I think that would not be good for me anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And what in all those exciting projects, what gives you meaning or fulfillment? What is it? What is the thing that makes your heart pound like faster?
I think it has a lot to do with the story from the last 2 years, to see that God's plans are so much higher than my dreams. And He has so many opportunities to make something happen I cannot even imagine. And that what makes my heart pumping higher to really expect huge things from God, because he has a party if it works. So he wants to do something, and he has any opportunities, just needs a few people who are flexible and faithful enough to start. And yeah, I'm really excited to see Asia in 20 years, Cambodia or Lombok in 20 years, and see what happened, how many lives changed or whatever.
Yeah, that's amazing. We have to do a podcast or an interview in 20 years from now and see what will happen. As we are wrapping up, Leo, can you give our listeners some advice how to live their best life?
Something which is important for me can be as an employee or as a business owner, as a dad from a family. I think it's really good to realize that life is pretty short, like a breath. And Ecclesiastes teaches us that everything is like changing the wind. So that's one part which is important for me to realize. And on the other hand side, we should learn from the ants. So I think it's important to do good work, to work hard if you work. If you go to your company as an employee, you work 8 or 9 hours a day. Why not doing the best in these 8 or 9 hours, working for your boss and being trustful in the little things. So not waiting for the huge, big purpose of life, because you already have one and you can do it right now. You can work hard now, you can enjoy life now, you can be faithful into God's guidance now, so you don't need to wait for anything. And I think God will promote the people which are trustful in the small things, and that starts right now.
Yeah, I love that. This is so relatable. I mean, yeah, start where you are with what you have, and God will promote you and will lead you to places you have never planned. And this is what I see in your story. I mean, it's amazing. Leo, yeah, thank you so much for sharing these amazing advice and insights. Where can people connect with you?
We are on Insta and Facebook. We have pages. So for the Wake Park in Cambodia, it's very simple. wakeparkcambodia.com. And the project in Indonesia, which is on the neighbor island from Bali, is called Sabah, like the Queen Sheba, Sabah Lombok. That's also online, and looking forward to hear something from you.
Great. I'm gonna leave all the links in the show notes below. So you please do connect with Leo, go wakeboarding or go spend some vacation on Lombok, a beautiful place. Yeah, thank you once again, Leo, for being on the show today.
Thank you,
for sharing your insights.
Thank you very much. Have a great time.